Have a lot more details in just a few minutes. Again, Collierville Police letting us know just a few moments ago, walking up to us, saying they're going to be having a press briefing right behind us here at 10 minutes after 3. I want to step out of the way, show you what's going on now. I hate to use the word calmer. The scene has gotten a little quieter, but it is still massive. Agencies from the ATF to every local police department and sheriff's office in the area, all on the scene, gathering details. In fact, there's a large number of people. I don't know where they're walking. Claudia, if you can pan over to that, there's a big group. They were all closer to the front of the store. We have been pushed to the very, very back, and they are all now walking to a particular area. Again, we're just trying to, this is all live as it's happening. I'm watching people across the street still standing outside of their place of business, just watching to see what's going on. I'm looking at a woman right now, an employee, being consoled by another individual, because as people drive up, trying to get to work, trying to figure out what's happening, they're hearing the very same news that we have been hearing and we've brought to you. Again, we're waiting for more details and should get some information sooner. I know Stephanie and April mentioned that those that were injured being transported, you can see an ambulance right there. It doesn't look like anybody's in the back of that, but we have seen a few of those now leaving the scene, another one leaving the scene. We saw some officials in, not suits, but ties and coats, and folks that were speaking with one another that were gathered much closer to the store. Don't want to make assumptions, but some of those folks may have been Kroger corporate, or at least connected to the store in some way, because we saw people speaking directly with employees. I've heard from folks in this area, from people who own businesses to parents concerned about what's happening. Earlier, the school was on lockdown. All of the schools, as a precautionary measure in this area, were on lockdown. I talked to someone who said they had a relative, they happened to be on their way to work, did not come. Certainly a very emotional time for anyone who was inside that store, anyone working in the store, and the people who initially responded. I believe it was Stephanie who mentioned being on the interstate headed this way. The very first car that I saw was an unmarked car, and it went so fast, barreling by everyone on the interstate. I didn't know what was going on. In fact, I even wondered, is this a legitimate law enforcement vehicle? Followed then by 7 other ones going at speeds that I had not seen in a very long time. Not the kind of stuff you see going to an accident scene, so you knew it was something much bigger than that. Of course, this is what it all led up to, an active shooter situation here at Kroger in Collierville at the intersection of Kroger and Byhalia. A lot of folks still on the scene here, a number of ambulances. Some of those are leaving right now. And that group of law enforcement agents still gathered under that tree right now. We don't really know what's going on in that area. We'll, of course, try to get some more details in just a moment. But Claudia's panning over. They walked over there just a moment ago as we started this live shot, and it looks like they're gathered and having some sort of conversation. We've been keeping our eye on Chief Dale Lane. He's over here, by the Collierville Mobile Command Center, talking to a gentleman in a white shirt that we also noticed was the same person who was speaking with one of the employees. Don't know if that person is connected to Kroger, but he and someone standing beside him have been in lengthy conversation with Collierville Police and in particular Chief Lane throughout the time that we've been out here. I've been on the scene for over an hour, and I've seen that person speaking with the chief and other law enforcement officials multiple times. We're going to try to gather some more details for you here. I want to show you, if we can, slowly this street, what's kind of happening in surrounding areas, because this is a very busy commercial area. You have Target, you have Academy Sports, you have several restaurants. Right now, it looks like this part of Byhalia, which north of Poplar, is all blocked off. So I'm looking at the intersection headed in the other direction, right at Poplar and Byhalia, and you can see that traffic is being directed. Claudia is actually panning in that area. So people can't get in this direction. So if you are getting off the interstate, maybe on 385, trying to get down Byhalia, once you get to the intersection of Poplar and Byhalia, you will be turned around. It looks like those cars are being rerouted to the other side. They're being rerouted west, I believe that is, on Poplar. So this part of the street shut down. People gathered in the parking lots just trying to figure out what's going on. Again, we are at 2:57 p.m. We've been on the scene for well over an hour out here trying to gather as many details as we possibly can, and we will hopefully have a much better update for you when we get that media briefing from Collierville Police at 10 after 3. So Stephanie, April, I don't know if you guys have any questions. I'm still having just a tad bit of trouble with audio, but I'm going to send it back to you. Sorry, I don't have on my mask. I'm fine. Are we?
Hey boss, I just sent you a ton of pictures and videos. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get that out sooner. Okay, 310. Very good. Very good. All right, man. Bye. Yeah, Merle, they're actually they're staging for a news conference right now. It looks like they've got water out there for the responding officers and the EMTs. I'm told now that they're going to push that news conference to 3:10 p.m. So coming up 7 or 8 minutes from now, if I'm looking at my watch correctly, maybe 9 minutes from now, they're going to give us an update. Again, I've seen all sorts of, forgive me, I'm fielding phone calls too, all sorts of police officers, fire, and EMT, but the only police official that I've seen so far is Collierville Police Chief Dale Lane. So right now, it's my assumption that that's who we're going to hear from primarily is Collierville Police Chief Dale Lane. He is, in fact, right over by the command center, I'm sure, being briefed by his lieutenants. Yeah. I haven't had the chance. I'm not going to bother him and speak with him, but we did acknowledge each other. So. Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, hey, Rob, if you would, spin around. I'm going to show people New Byhalia. Just come around to me here. As you can see, right down here, you see this truck. There's a Shelby County Sheriff's truck that's blocking New Byhalia at Poplar. So you cannot go left or right to turn north on New Byhalia. They're allowing some of the traffic on 385 or coming up New Byhalia from 385 to release finally, so that congestion isn't nearly as bad as it was. And then if we swing around 180 degrees, there's the Kroger again. Let's keep coming. This is the other side of the store, and there's Poplar also closed off in the other direction. I don't know if that's all the way down to Market Boulevard or how far, Merle, but there is no traffic flowing on New Byhalia, and this is usually a very, very busy area at any given time of the day, especially during business hours. Yeah, they brought 2 more ambulances into the staging area that's about 150, 200 yards away from here across New Byhalia. What you're looking at right now, if I can see what Rob is shooting, these are Kroger employees, and they may have just released them from inside of the store. They were near this command center just a moment ago, I'm assuming being debriefed by some of the law enforcement officers there, the investigators. As a matter of fact, I heard a law enforcement officer in some of the chaos earlier talking to a Kroger employee, and she was in tears. She couldn't describe to that officer exactly what had happened and what was going on. But she wasn't hurt. She was just obviously frightened by the gunfire and all of the chaos inside. Yeah, that's from the command center. Yeah, they were over with the command staff and the investigators near that command center. So I'm sure that's where they were just released from. And that looks like the entire employee staff. As a matter of fact, Merle, one employee told me that they had to run to the pharmacy because, the pharmacy is on the exact opposite end of the store where this all happened, and inform the pharmacists and people inside to get out because they didn't hear the gunfire. They didn't see the chaos because they're so tucked away. So those individuals were inside the store just doing their job, but they had to be told by other employees to go out the back door and get out. Yes. That's it. As a matter of fact, let me show you. Let me give you some perspective here. Rob, if you could swing this way. You see the panel van right here? Right behind that panel van inside the Kroger, that's where the deli is. So to get some perspective, Rob, go back over here and just swing to the drive-thru where you see drive-thru again. It happened on the complete opposite side of this store because this is a very large Kroger store. It's very large. It's massive. So a lot of people on that side of the store, on this north side of the store, or the left side of the store if I'm facing it, had no idea what was going on. They had to be told to evacuate, and they got out through a side door. I saw people flooding out of that door when I got here. Yes, they are. I can see one of the people I actually talked to. So yes, those are.
That's right, April, about 5 minutes away from that. But there's something else that's just happening that I want to show you. Take a look behind me. These are all of the employees who we had not seen in well over an hour. I arrived here very early on at the scene as police were gathering, and some of those employees were walking out. They have since either been near or outside or somewhere else, that mobile unit, talking with law enforcement authorities, or somewhere else where we could not see them. They all just walked out in one single file line. They are now gathered together, some of them holding hands, some of them embracing one another. It looks like several of them are talking. One person is talking to them. There are bottles of water that are out there that they can have. This has been a lot for them. Again, we don't have a whole lot of details, but I just wanted to show you that picture because we had not seen them in a very long time, and they all walked out together. Okay, and I'm sorry, you're probably hearing that behind me. We just got the 5-minute warning from Collierville police letting us know that we can get set up and get ready to go. But just a powerful image there of all of those employees gathered together that we had not seen in well over an hour. Again, many of them holding hands. So many of them still have on those Kroger shirts, uniforms, the aprons, many of them masks. Just standing next to one another, supporting each other. And we're going to get some more details here in just a minute about everything that happened. Hopefully more details about what happened inside. We have a number of crews here on the scene, so we are setting up for that press conference that's about to happen. But we wanted to be able to just show you that image because this is something that's happening right now. These are the people that that work at this Kroger. They are on the inside. It looks like many of them are searching for family members, loved ones, cars. They have been impacted by this. So we wanted to bring that to you as quickly as we could. April, Stephanie, I'm going to cut away so we can also join our other colleagues at this press conference. Can you hear me? If they break off, somebody needs to go that way. You want to go over there? Excuse me, ma'am.
Come out. Oh, you're fine right there, right there, right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Roger that.
Stand by. Okay. Yeah, Robert, sorry, man. You're good. Sorry, man. Yeah, let's do it. That's be us. Yeah, I mean, earlier in the day, I don't know what's happened since then. We've got two cameras in live view. Why don't we have one of them right now? You can tell the right here in the Kroger parking lot.
Crazy, to be honest, because you'll never think nothing like this right here happened in Collierville. You know what I'm saying? You'll look for it to happen in Memphis or, you know what I'm saying, somewhere in Chicago or something. You'll never look for it to happen like right here. You know, bad as these police is out here. You see what I'm saying?
Is your mother-in-law okay?
Yes, ma'am. She's fine. Matter of fact, she's over there standing somewhere.
What were they telling the employees? Were you able to hear that?
Well, I heard them tell them that I guess the Connor dude, I guess he's the manager or the supervisor of the place, that he's been shot in the face, and he okay, I guess, or they seeking medical attention with him right now, so he should be okay, basically what they were saying, you know. So.
Did your mother-in-law see what was going on, and what did she tell you?
Well, basically, I don't think she seen nothing because after she heard the gunshot, she went straight. You know what I'm saying? First time you hear a gunshot, you gonna get down. So that's basically what she probably did, got down. You know what I'm saying? But they said that they said it was the Chinese dude that worked in here. So they said he got mad because he got fired or something. I don't know for sure. But.
Does your mother-in-law work at the Kroger?
Yes, ma'am.
How long has she been working here?
About 20-some years.
And nothing like this has ever happened?
Nothing like this never happened. Like, as far as I know, nothing.
Have you been able to talk to her? Can you describe what the state she was in?
Well, right now she's kind of up, you know what I'm saying? She's kind of nervous. She really don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, she really can barely talk right now because she's so nervous and shook up at the moment. But she's okay, though, you know what I'm saying? She's fine.
Thank you. Did she say how many gunshots she heard?
No, she didn't say how many gunshots she heard. I just know that they told her to go to the vault.
Was there somebody that was stuck inside?
Inside Kroger? I don't know for sure. I don't know.
You said she works in the deli.
She works in the deli part. So.
You haven't been able to see her?
Yeah, I seen her. I just finished talking to her. My she was right there.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Thank you again, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all.
What's your name?
Latoya Rosser.
Can you spell that for me?
LATOYA ROSSER.
Thank you.
Y'all have a nice day.
Guys, let's take this. It's about to start, guys.
So two with Andrew, Ian Yeah, it should be happening any minute. I'm going to step out of the shot right now. You can see Collierville Police Chief Dale Lane and others. Yeah, you got that all? Shelby County Sheriff's Office, they're all on the ground right now. We're expecting to see any minute right now. Again, as active the shooting situation at the Kroger in Collierville on Byhalia Road. A little before 2 o'clock this afternoon. We're going to get details on what happened. About to get confirmed. But this is a very active investigation right now. There's dozens of Kroger employees underneath that tree that my video journalist has right now. So we're just continuing to monitor the situation and find out more. But again, just a couple of minutes ago, a witness told me she was inside the store when that shooting happened. Heard several pops, and then hid in a cooler for safety. She was still very shaken up. We'll have some sound with her later on at 5 and 6 throughout the evening. We have team coverage right now. We've got the Butcher, Caitlin McCarthy. We're all team coverage here at ABC 24. Trevor Duquette doing a great job.
Yeah, about a mile and a half.
Traffic. But again, we're waiting any minute right now as law enforcement. It looks like here's a Dale Lane.
All right, here we go, guys. Here we go.
Put this on the microphone. We're going to take this live right now. I'm going to put this back on this news conference.
Here we go, Merle. Yeah, Chief Lane is about to walk up to the microphone now. But see Sheriff Floyd Bonner in the back too. Here we go.
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dale Lane. I'm the Chief of Police, Collierville. It breaks my heart to have to stand before you today because we've had an incident here in Collierville that has been occurring all over the country. Today at 1:30 hours or 1:30 p.m., our dispatch received a call of an active shooter occurring at the Kroger behind us. At 1:34, the first car arrived on the scene. Immediately, our cars began to flood the area to secure the scene. As we entered the building, there were multiple people shot. Our SWAT team, along with patrol officers and our command staff members, began the process of going aisle to aisle, room to room, clearing, bringing employees out that were in hiding, and helping the victims that were injured. At this time, we still have a couple of active scenes that we are working. The suspected shooter's vehicle is in the parking lot, and we are waiting on some additional equipment to get here to be able to safely check that vehicle, as well as some property that's on him. At this time, the shooter is deceased. We believe that's going to be from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. We have 13 victims. Our hearts go out to those that were injured. We do have one fatality, and our thoughts and prayers are with those family members. We had, like I said, we had 13 victims that we know of at this time. Now, please bear with me and know that this situation is probably going to change, and we'll do another update, another briefing, probably in 3 hours, somewhere in that range, and we'll update you. But we know that we've had 12 victims that were transported from this scene, and we also know that we've had at least one additional walk up to local hospitals. Today I have Assistant Chief Jeff Ablin with me, our Fire Chief at Collierville, Chief Billings, his Assistant Chief King, Assistant Special Agent in Charge Jeremy Baker with the FBI. We have Colonel Smith with MPD, Chief Inspector Mills, Derek Mills with Shelby County. And I can't say enough about the cooperation and the help. And as bad as this scene is, and it's horrific. I've been involved in this for 34 years, and I've never seen anything like it. But our teams came together and worked together. That's not just the law enforcement agencies, but the fire. Sometimes there's a delay. There was no delay with our firemen coming into that scene with us. We just trained on this back 2 months ago at Collierville High School. So it is, just like I said, it's with a broken heart that I have to stand here before you today. So please keep the families in your prayers. Keep the folks from this Kroger. We have a representative from Kroger here as well. I'm not sure if they're going to give a statement at this point, but everything is preliminary. So with that, I'll open it up for just a couple of real quick questions. One at a time.
Were there two shooters or only one?
At this point in the investigation, there appears to be one shooter.
And the deceased person, was that the shooter or was that
Both. We have one victim and then one shooter that's DOA at this point.
And so just to clarify, 13 people shot and of those 12 injured and 1 dead, correct?
Right.
Not counting the shooter.
At this point. Now remember, we're still receiving information that's coming in from other parts. Even we've got some reports there may have been some walk-ups in Fayette County with Fayette County Ambulance Service. So we're trying to confirm that information now. But this, like I said, this was a joint effort. We had Chief Billings can speak more to the number of ambulances and where they come from, but every city around came and supported the sheriff. Right now, that crime scene is huge, and it's being worked by the FBI's evidence response team. TBI's got agents en route. The Collierville Police Department Detective Division, or our Criminal Investigative Division, is in there, and the Sheriff's Office. So it's going to take a little bit to know exactly what happened.
Chief, was the shooter an employee or do you know yet?
That's part of the ongoing investigation. That's something that we don't need to talk about.
Connected to the shooter?
It's all still under investigation.
Were there any children who were injured, any minors?
I do not have any information on that at this point, not to my knowledge, but
Can you give a range of the extent of injuries from minor to severe?
very serious injuries.
And Chief, do you have any idea how many people were in the store at the time?
I do not at this point, but we know that we have quite a few witnesses. We're bringing in additional detectives for people that were in the store. There were numerous employees that were working. I know we found people hiding in freezers and in locked offices, and they were doing what they had been trained to do: run, hide, fight. And so, I hate that we had to do it here.
Was the shooter found inside the store or outside?
That's part of the investigation. I don't want to get into that.
Can you give us an idea? Can you give us an idea of what kind of weapon he was using?
No.
I'm saying it was big. No.
I'm not going to go into that at this point. Let's get through the investigation. Remember, we're 2 hours away from the most horrific event that's occurred in Collierville history.
Was there any incident that happened prior to the shooting in the altercation?
That's part of this investigation.
Chief, there's an image circulating on social media about a person who is suspected to be the suspect on the top of the building. Can you confirm or deny that?
I cannot. I can tell you this. I was part of a team that extricated an employee of Kroger from the top of the building, so it's more than likely going to be a Kroger employee that was working on the roof.
Chief, what's just the aftermath of this for this community, these employees you were just mentioning? How does this rank in Collierville history right now with what you're all dealing with right now?
I mean, obviously, it's like every other community in the country. It's horrific. We hate that it happened, but this is one of the most resilient communities in America, and one of the best police departments. I'm very thankful. I watched guys that ran into the front of that building, knowing that historically, not in this case, but historically, many of these shooters have very high-powered rifles, and not one of them hesitated going in that front door.
Chief, we saw you. Were you meeting with the employees over here, and are they okay? How are they responding?
I have met with some as we were bringing them out of the building. I have not talked with all of them. So, yes, ma'am. Okay. I tell you what we're going to do. We'll take one more question, and then we're going to pause this for about 3 hours. So, anybody else? One last question. Yes, ma'am.
All the victims, are they at only one?
No, they're spread out among all the area hospitals.
And because we're getting ready to leave, what equipment are you waiting? Do you need to go in his car? Do you need some equipment to check the
No,
shooter's car?
that's part of the investigation. So we're going to hold that right now. What we don't want to do is create unnecessary fear. Okay. All right. Thank everybody. I appreciate you.
No, hold on. Here's Mike. I gotta give you my mic. They look the same.
Yep. How you doing, brother?
Well, Lonnie, really just summed up one of the most notable comments from Chief Dale Lane just a second ago. It's one of the most horrific criminal events in all of history to talk about this.
How about?
A little bit. Whew. Good gosh.
You know, Merle, you heard yourself a lot of the details, and you just reiterated a lot of those details. Some of the things I observed, you could tell that Chief Lane was visibly shaken. It was obvious in his voice, it was obvious in his demeanor, while steadfast and very much in control of the situation. I would not say that he lacked any command presence at all, but you could tell that he was emotionally hit by this. In his experience, all I believe here in the Shelby County area, he said that he has never seen anything like that. And at one point when he was thumbing through his notes, you could tell that there was some disbelief, not only in what he was reading in his handwritten notes, I assume his own hand, but also very much so in the fact that he was shaken by what he was reading. The fact that he had to write this down and present this sort of information in Collierville, because you have to remember, Chief Lane hasn't been on this job more than a year. This is still kind of a new job to him. While he has been in law enforcement and emergency management for his entire career, this is different. You know, 13 people hit, one person dead, one citizen of this community. We have no idea who the shooter was yet. We have no idea why they did this. But just to confirm and again reiterate what you said, Merle, the chief did clarify 2 dead, and that includes the shooter. As far as victims, 1 dead and 12 others injured. And the severity of their injuries goes from minor to as gravely serious as you could imagine with gunshot wounds. I did ask if this individual might have been a Kroger employee. The chief would not go into that. He did reiterate that that individual's car, the suspect's car, is here in this parking lot. I do not know which vehicle it is. I was told by a witness it might be a black SUV that they're looking for and looking at specifically. So they're going to be poring over evidence inside this store. And the chief pointed out, as I pointed out earlier, this store is massive. It's huge. They found employees who were locked away in offices. The freezer cases, they were ducked down behind aisles. They were ducked under tables for quite some time until SWAT team members were able to come in, find them, and release them. And one of the interesting things, you also heard another question asked by the media pool about someone possibly on the rooftop of this store. I had heard that same rumor, if you will. I'd heard about a photo circulating. I'd had someone else tell me they saw someone on top of the roof. The chief says that was more than likely an employee. That's his belief because he helped. He was part of that team that helped individuals out of the store and off that rooftop. In fact, I saw the chief here very quickly, probably within 10 minutes of all of this going on.
I'm walking through, delis this way to my right, go all the way back. I got the vegetables, hang a left, meat, fish.
Mm-hmm.
So that area.
Yeah, right between the meat department. The chicken, where the frozen chicken is, and the smoked meat. That's where it was.
Okay.
There's a door right there. We went through the back of the meat department where the fresh meat is. Went through there. I tell people go, go, go. And when I went back through the door, that's when I heard the gunshots again.
So he wasn't out front. At some point, he has made his way back into the
Yes.
by part of the store.
Yes.
Explain that.
All I know is when I heard the gunshots, he came through the receiving department, through the back of the store, by a break room, then went to the back, and came through the back of the receiving department. Because there's a big little small door. When they bring in the deliveries, that's where he came through. That's where we came through, came out of it. He came out of it also.
When you saw everything at the beginning, and you got to your employees and your customers, what was going through your mind? I know you've been working there a while, haven't you?
I've been there for 32 years.
32 years.
Yes, and my only concern was my coworkers and my employees, my coworkers and my customers.
32 years.
Yes,
Same location.
same location. And I was like, wow. And I'm still in shock right now, but I was calm. I was calm and told the customers and my coworkers, just sit down and relax. You'll be okay. But the one, I'm still worried about my coworker that got shot in the head. I'm still worried about him, but I think he's okay. 'Cause he was alert. He said, "I want to go home." Sorry. And he says, "I want my mother. Call my mother." So I called his mother. His mother didn't answer the phone. She didn't answer the other phone either. The other phone was busy. So I still got to call her to let her know that he's at the hospital. He was alert and talking. Right now, I don't know if he's still alert or not.
Yeah.
About how old was he? Is he
In his 20s.
young kid?
Yes.
Young man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do y'all practice a active shooter drill?
Well, we did mostly coincide with shooting, where it's like a storm. Like we have a storm, we do practice the storm technique where we had to go to the back. Like a tornado, we had to go to the back of the store. And I remember that technique where we had to go back to the store and stay there.
So all of that kicked in for you.
Exactly.